Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Safety Study Group YouTube channel and safetystudygroup.com. This is the logo of Safety Study Group. So this photo has been online for a few years now, and a lot of employers use this photo to ask questions during a job interview. And based on their answers, the employers will determine whether or not these guys will be a good fit for their team. The reason behind this photo is to identify hazards, tell them the risks, and what the control measures are for each of them. Now, you don't have to be an expert to know, but you just have to have basic knowledge in health and safety to be able to understand what each of these things are, and you just have to have an eye to see, not just to look. So now let's see what these hazards are and how can we control them. It's important to know that this photo here is staged. It means that this is not a real photo. Like nobody walked into this workshop and saw all of these things happen at the same time and decided to take a photo. No, this photo is carefully designed. All these people are told exactly where to stand, what to do, and so on. Everything in this photo is staged. Okay, now, before we do anything, we have to break it down. We have to break down the photo so we know where to look and what to look for, and to make sure that we don't miss anything. So now, imagine with me, imagine that there is a cross here, one line here, and one line here. Or actually, you don't have to imagine, we can just make one line here, like this, and we can make another line right here, like this. So when we look at the photo, let's take each block at a time. So you can take this one, this one, this one, and this one. Or we can move from side to side. It's up to you. This is just how I approach things to make sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, so let's start from the top right here. Now, this is my logo. Let me just remove that. From the top right, we can see that, okay, we have windows. Windows are open. What is wrong with that? What is the hazard of the window if it's open? Well, you have glare from the sun. You have glare from the sun. The sun is a source of radiation. This guy is wearing internal safety glasses, so the glare is an issue. The control, or actually the hazard, is the sun itself, the light, and possibly also heat. Its effect on the people, they may lose focus, not be able to see correctly at the time, but also they may have long-term effects on the workers. So the control for it is to bring blinds and install them. Okay, let's come down even a little bit more. Okay, what do we have here? We have this guy working in hot work, grinding, using a grinding machine. So a grinding machine is considered hot work because it generates spark. The sparks here are the hazards. The noise from the grinding machine is a hazard. There is a fire hazard, a risk of having fire. Okay, this guy, to start with him, he's wearing the wrong type of PPE. Okay, there is no face shield on this guy, as you see here. There is no face shield on this guy, and sorry about that. Okay, so he's not wearing the face shield. His arm is exposed. A part of it is exposed. The sparks are going to this garbage bin right here. which could easily generate a fire. Now, I don't know if you can see what's written on the garbage bin here, but it says old, greasy gloves, old greasy rags and gloves. So this this is a source of fire right here. This is a fire hazard right here. Okay, where's the nearest fire extinguisher to this guy who's working? Where is it? Can you see it? No, there's no fire extinguisher. There is no fire extinguisher. So we need to have a fire extinguisher. What about his PPE? Is he wearing earplugs? I don't think so. Okay, he's got no barricade around his work site, and this guy has his back turned to him. He's not wearing PPE for hot work. Now, some people may say, why would this guy need to wear hot work PPE? Well, this guy, because he's got all these guys around him, he needs to have engineering controls in place to separate the hazard from the worker, because engineering controls does one thing or the other. It either takes the hazard away from people or the people away from the hazard. Okay, so we can have, let me show you a photo actually. Never mind. The photo I wanted to show you is like the curtains that you have in a clinic, you know, when the doctor says, please go behind the curtain, where they do a checkup or something. We can have something similar in here, basically as a barrier to separate the people from the hazard, which is sparks, and to separate the sparks from people. So we could have had that. This way, this guy will be protected from the possible fire that will happen here. But speaking of which, let's actually come to this guy and see what he's doing. Now, like we said, he's got his back turned to this guy. This is wrong. He's picking up something that looks a little heavy. Yeah, it's something heavy. It's a piece of metal. And his posture is incorrect. His posture is incorrect. When you do manual handling, just like we will have a course on safetystudygroup.com on manual handling, it's going to be free of charge for everybody. Manual handling, when you are trying to lift something using bodily force, you gotta bend your knees and keep your back straight when you're picking it up, and this guy is not doing that. Okay, now he's also placing it on this cable or hose, which could possibly damage it. So that's damage to property. That's also wrong. He's not wearing earplugs because he's close to the grinding machine. He has to wear them. And because he's in the because he's in the workshop, the coveralls, this part, the hem of the coveralls, it has to be on top of the safety boots, not inside the socks and inside the boots. The reason being is if there is a splash or spill or sparks or anything flying around, flying hazards, this way they will hit the coverall and ricochet away from the foot. But this way it will go straight into his foot, and if it's a chemical, God forbid, it's going to be a big deal for him because he's going to be injured. Now, moving on. This cable or hose is extended like this. This is poor housekeeping. This box, poor housekeeping, fire hazard, tripping hazard. Let's continue. Now this here, this is a gantry crane, sorry, and it's being used by this person. But let's talk more about this here. This is the road, this is the rail of this crane. So this crane, what it does is picks something up and it travels to that direction and to this direction, and it brings it to here. So to avoid manual handling. which, by the way, another thing this guy could have used is this crane to move this item, but he did not. Okay, now you see this cable. It's in the traveling path. It is in the traveling path of the gantry crane, which is also a hazard. Okay, here we have more improper housekeeping. You see here these pieces of metal. You see these connected to them. This is a tripping hazard. This is a falling hazard. People can easily hit their foot here, and if they're not paying attention, of course, and cause themselves to fall. Now, if they fell, they will fall on here, which is what? What is inside? Piece of metal? Something? We don't know. So it has to go away. These two things have to be disconnected. Okay, moving on. This guy here, this gentleman, what he's doing is, again, improper body posture, just like this guy. Okay, he's bent down a little bit to rig these things up so he can move them somewhere. Okay, he's using improper lifting slings. Okay, this is not a lifting sling. This is a rope. It cannot be used. The load itself is imbalanced. His foot is in the line of fire. He's not using gloves. He's only using one hand. He is smoking, even though we have a clear sign here that says no smoking. All right. And here we have fallen objects sign. And this guy is not wearing a helmet. These guys are not wearing a helmet. We will come to these guys in a minute. What is this on the ground? Is that like a platform for scaffolding or what? What is it? Why is it on the ground? Okay. Now, you see his helmet is right here. It should be on his head, not here. Of course, he's not wearing safety glasses. He's not wearing the helmet. He's not wearing earplugs because of the grinding machine. And like I said, he is smoking. I hope I did not forget anything here. Okay. Now, coming to these guys right here. These guys are socializing. These guys are socializing in the place of work. Now, maybe these guys, 1, 2, 3, maybe they are working on the weekend or something. And these guys here, maybe they are off, but they decided to come to the workshop and socialize. Now, you are not in full PPE, you know. This lady is not wearing PPE at all. This guy is also not wearing PPE. Okay, you see the civil shoes. She's smoking. And this guy is not smoking. No PPE whatsoever. And they're socializing, which is a big no-no. We have a fallen objects sign, but this guy and these two are not wearing, their helmets. What is this here? Is this like a spill or something? I think so. I think this is a spill, maybe oil or paint. So this again is a fire hazard. This is a fire hazard. This guy is smoking, and there is no fire extinguisher to be found. Here it says old greasy rags and gloves. Wow. Okay, so this location is screaming fire, fire, fire. Okay. Now, if you think about it, what is a hazard? A hazard, if you took the course that I made for free on safetystudygroup.com on hazard categories or hazard identification. A hazard is anything that has the potential to cause you harm. So anything that can hurt you is a hazard. Okay? Now, how many things here can hurt me? A lot. What is a risk? The risk, by definition of GHAREEB, is the harm from the hazard. So, for example, if we have a banana skin here, that is a hazard. the risk of that hazard is the fall. Now, what can happen if I fall? I can hurt myself, break my back, break my neck, or twist my ankle, or my hand, or something. What is the control? Proper housekeeping. Okay, so what do? We train this gentleman and this gentleman and these two on proper, actually this guy too, on proper PPE on site, because this guy is not wearing earplugs, this guy is not in full hot work PPE, this guy is not wearing a helmet when it's on the ground, there's a fallen object sign. These guys are socializing without PPE, so you need to have more strict rules, procedures on personnel when they are on site. We need to have a system in place for housekeeping, somebody to implement it and follow up on it. So this guy must use the crane if it's there, instead of using his body to do manual handling, or if he has to use the manual handling techniques, he must use the correct ones. This woman here, she's not wearing any PPE, so she needs to receive that training. No smoking on site, and bring a fire extinguisher. Provide some fire fighting techniques and firefighting training for the people. And that's it. By the way, I would like to say a disclaimer. I do not own this photo. Safety Study Group does not own this photo. I would like to thank whoever made this photo. If you would like to remove this video, please get in touch with me. Or if you want this video to give you credit for creating this amazing photo, please reach out to me. I'll give you full credit for having this photo taken. It's a great idea and a great method of training for everybody to follow. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something new. I'll see you on safetystudygroup.com for the training courses that are now on site, absolutely free of charge, and you will get a free certificate on completion of all the courses that you will enroll yourself in. Thank you, and God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.